Hi everybody. I was just doing an impromptu video about the Josh Freeman trade to Minnesota, but I have this little problem where my mouth goes faster than my mind and my words get mixed up. So I was all over the place and I do apologize. I'm going to get a swig of water real quick just to clear my throat. Alright, let's begin. So, as this video will be going over the Josh Freeman acquisition to the Minnesota Vikings. For people that don't know, I'm sure that's pretty much every YouTube viewer, I am a major Viking fan. And with such, I believe that I can essentially shoot off the hip in this video on how I feel about it, as they're my team and I pretty much follow them all the time. So I've read pretty much all the news articles on it and gotten a pretty rough gist of what's going on. So with that, I want to begin. First going over Josh Freeman as a player. Josh Freeman is a player out of KSU. He's, I believe, around 6'4 to 6'6". So a fairly tall player. He was being compared to a Ben Roethlisberger-esque type player. He's tall, lengthy, strong arm, and is capable of moving out of the pocket and running if he has to. So obviously he hasn't lived up to that standard yet, but you can see physically he is much like Ben in that respect. No offense to the man, he has a lot of issues that he has to overcome, at least reading the articles of his physical ability. For those who don't know, he does have, or has been confirmed to have ADHD, which does, I'm sorry, I lost words. It does affect him as a quarterback due to the fact that he will have lapse of concentration, for lack of a better word or sentence. And those that know football fairly well know that as a quarterback, that is probably the worst thing you can have, because you have to be focused for 60 minutes because you're the focal point of an NFL team, at least in the offense, and you have to score to win. So offense is probably the most important point of football, and the quarterback is the most important position of the offense. He is in charge of not only knowing what defense is going on, he has to know what every offensive player is doing. He's in charge of changing things for the offense to best suit their particular scenario for each play. So if you have a lapse of concentration, that could really screw things up. So with that, he is strong-armed, capable of launching the deep ball, which the Vikings have not really had lately, at least since Brett Favre, of course, and Dante Culpepper to another extent. And so that could help due to the fact that they are a ground and pound team, as I like to call them. They like to run the ball. And when you have a player like Adrian Peterson, who I consider the best player non-being a quarterback, that can greatly affect the defense and make them try to stop him, thus opening the back for a receiver like Jerome Simpson, Greg Jennings, or Cordell Patterson included because he's a super speedster, at least coming out of college is considered that. And so that can open the top, and he can actually launch those deep balls and get the big play, which the Vikings have had trouble doing this year, and to an extent last year. Going into that, I would like to start off saying my opinion again. Personally, it's always my opinion. I do not like this. This is not a deal I believe is any better than what the quarterback situation we currently had. Freeman is, to the same extent, a stronger arm version of Ponder in terms of statistics. He has been a turnover machine, just like Ponder in the past 2 years. That does not bode well for this team, in my opinion. What we need is someone who would be either a great game manager like Alex Smith, Or, of course, what everybody wants is a do-it-all quarterback. So those are the two things we need. I know that game manager will be a lot easier to find, which is why I'd like to go into this real quick. I believe that we should have got Alex Smith when we had the chance. We're now in this situation where we're basically grabbing for whatever quarterback is available to try to fix the situation we got going on. Vikings are doing everything they can to try to get Peterson a ring. I love that, but they are rushing and not thoroughly thinking this out as best as possible. Oh, excuse me. Apologize. So the general manager, Rick Spielman, has done a great job so far in every other aspect except getting a quarterback through what we've done in the draft. We had reached for Ponder. I apologize for Ponder in the 2012 draft, I believe it was, the 12th overall pick, and so everybody else was grabbing their guy. And NFC North had Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, and got Jay Cutler at that time, which are all very decent quarterbacks. Some of the best, if you look at some of the statistics they've done. Matthew Stafford is king of the long ball, as I like to call it. He has an amazing arm. You have Aaron Rodgers, which is just the do-it-all quarterback. He is very much the consensus best physical quarterback, I believe, in the NFL in terms of being able to combine everything together into one whole package. And Jay Cutler, to a lesser extent, can run and has a very strong arm. And so NFC North is packed with quality quarterbacks except for Minnesota. And I believe Minnesota has much more quality overall in other areas as a total package than the other teams, but does not have the most important piece, which is a quarterback. And that's what they're trying to find to get Peterson that Super Bowl. I'm for it. But we have Matt Castle, Christian Ponder, and Josh Freeman. And so enough with the technicals. I'm talking about what I think is going to happen. Matt Castle is going to start if Christian Ponder is not able to perform. Once Christian Ponder is ready to go, they're going to give him a few games to see if he's able to turn it around. And if not, once Josh Freeman has a grip of that playbook, they're going to put him in to see what he can offer to the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not sure if it's going to help out any. He'll definitely be able to change things around in terms of just dumping and passing, small to immediate passes and never really go for the deep ball, which Ponder has had struggles doing. And so that might change things a few, but he is also a turnover machine with that lapse of concentration and unable to read defenses at times. And so that is ultimately what's going to cost the Vikings, due to the fact that our defense is having trouble stopping people from scoring points. We're able to cause turnovers ourselves. We've been great at that, but we've also given up, I believe it is 28 points on average per game, and that's not going to get it done. And so that is how I feel it's going to turn out. If that is what's going to happen, I am looking for the Vikings to look at either free agency or a high to mid-round quarterback drafted. That's my opinion. I know it's, very broad, and it's like, oh yeah, they'll have to do that either way, but I have no idea which quarterback they would be wanting to go for at this point right now. I don't even know if they will go for one, because let's say if Ponder or Freeman do end up improving or becoming what they need, then this is all null and void, and I have nothing to complain about. So this would completely make this video useless and no longer necessary to post. But from what I'm thinking, that is not going to happen, so I am going to say that they're probably most likely going to go for a free agent quarterback, because they want someone that can jump into the system and basically lead the team and give Pearson his ring without having to spend 3 years to find out what they had, like they did with Ponder. And so that is really all I have to say about it. I've pretty much stated my opinion that I don't like it. It's not going to really change anything. I'm happy to be proven wrong. I hope I'm proven wrong. I would not like to have to do another rebuild at this point. As long as Peterson's in the league, that's who I'm really rooting for at this point. I hope that something happens to where he can get his ring. Because I like a more balanced approach instead of kinging a quarterback as the only person on a team that can really decide if they win or lose in a game that's supposed to be all about the team. With that said, this is Frey Taryn doing an impromptu video on the Josh Freeman trade. Feel free to express your opinions. Just leave comments down below. I'll happily answer anything that you guys have to say about this. And with that, I am out. See you later.